Good afternoon, this is episode 4 of Apocalyptic Knitter. My name is Naomi and I come to you from West Yorkshire, where I live with my husband, my young son and our cat, who is apparently asleep on the sofa. I'll try and put in a picture of him. So yes, this is episode 4. For those who are returning viewers, thank you so much for your support. It means so much to me, and starting to find my feet with it a bit more now. For new viewers, new subscribers, welcome. This podcast is mainly knitting related, bit of crochet when I come to it, and where I share a little bit of my apocalyptic love, whether that's in films or a little bit of lifestyle, tongue-in-cheek, books that I'm reading, that kind of thing, bit of budgeting tips and advice I find along the way if I feel it'll be of any use. So if that sounds something you're interested in, get yourself a cup of tea and join us. So I'm going to call it a finished object because it is finished-ish. So as we know, this is going to be the year of the jumpers. Jumper number 1, which is the Aran jumper, is finished. I say, then it's got a couple of ends to sew in, but the recipient, I feel like I'm a bit low down today. The recipient I'm seeing at the weekend, and I did the sleeves extra long because I kind of want it to kind of go over their knuckles a bit and kind of do like a bit of a thumb hole. Or if she doesn't want that, she can like bend it over. So I just kind of, I've left those bits unsewn, and I just kind of want to put it on her and then see where to place it. It smells very sheepy. And really happy with how it's turned out. The neckband, I find that how neat you do a neckband can like make or break a garment. Does anybody else find that? Sometimes you can do the knitting absolutely perfectly, and I feel like you've got to be in the right mindset when you're sewing it all up, because if you rush it and you do something, it can really make that difference. And this neckband is a folded over, so I kind of picked up all the necessary things, and it was like 16 rows, and then you kind of tacked it in place, so it just kind of gives it a really good fin. And do you know what, just tuck that end in. I'm really pleased with how neat and even I got that, because it just gives that bit of reinforcement, bit of stretch, because it is quite a weighty feel to it. So yeah, there was quite a few ends to weave, and I will finish some, but I'd have me fill a bit by then. I'm also really pleased with the yardage that I used, because I kind of adapted this pattern. Do I have the original pattern? Nothing, not inside. I'll put it on the screen later, hopefully. This is so as I mentioned last week, my son's going to help me do a bit of editing. I got too impatient last time and didn't, so sorry. But the pattern is quite dated. It's about 30 years old, and they weren't hugely inclusive on the sizes. It was like small, medium and large, and even the large I think was probably back the equivalent of a size 14 to 16. And the person who were making it for us kind of more quite busty, so I've gone for like a larger size. I kind of measured them around, and also measured a jumper that they enjoy the positive ease on, and measured that jumper and kind of adapted the size of the pattern to fit. And because of that, I didn't know how much yardage I would use or not use, so I kind of guessed, because I didn't want to overbuy, because then obviously you're kind of wasting more money and have leftover wool that you might not guarantee make something with, or you'd feel obliged to. But then I didn't want to kind of feel like I had to buy more at the end of it, even though it was the wool that I use is woolly knits, so it's quite like a commercial one that I wouldn't necessarily it wouldn't matter to me if it was a different dye lot, because it's quite, you know. So I ended up buying 15 of the 50-gram balls, so it was 750 grams worth. And you're going to ask me what yardage that is, so bear with me, because it was also there. So this was the pattern. And so it was from this Women's Weekly or Radio Times collection from the it was the late 80s, because bless her, my mum was still alive in the 80s. So yeah, the pattern is called just Ivory Knit with Texture Stitches. And it called for, even using the largest size, 16 balls, 16 times 50 grams of emu Aran. So as I say, I went for 15 of woolly knits. And I still don't have a bumming ball band, I'm daft, aren't I? And I'm left with about 40 grams of the last ball, which, do you know what, I'm really, really happy with. So yeah, that worked out quite well, because I think, I mean, I can use that to make a hat or something. There you go. So yeah, as I say, it was a very it's a 4-row pattern. For both the front and the back were the same pattern design, and the sleeves were slightly different, but it was easy to kind of learn off by heart when you're about 10 rows in. So yeah, so I'm happy with that. I will try and get a finished off picture when it's all done to put on, but that I thought I wanted to show you in this episode in case this was the last one. Do you know what it does? It weighs. It's nice and warm. So I forgot to say the day today is 31st of August, which, although is, you know, still in summer, all of a sudden you're into autumn, and that's where you want to wear all these sweaters. So that's why I'm getting a bit of a wiggle on. The bag I was using it in is, as I say, from Bertie and Poppet, and she was absolutely sweetheart, because she was listening to the podcast, and where I mentioned last week that I had lost my little tag on the zip, and she sent me one in the post to replace it. And yeah, I've not got around to putting it on, so I'm gonna see if I can put it on now, because we all know what I'm like. So it's very cute. It's got some little bunnies on. And she also sent me some care instructions, some little cards that kind of tells you what yarn it is and how to wash it and how to dry it. But because a lot of the projects that I'm making are for other people who aren't necessarily knitters and know how to care for a hand knitted item, so that was really kind of you. Thank you so much. Oh, I'll put the tag on. Let me just take the old one off, and look, it's all done. Thank you. So that's that one. I've almost got a second a second finished object, which is a jumper again. This is the test knit that I've been doing, the Athame, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it right, Athame, the Athame sweater, by Ellie at Curio Stitches. And are you ready? So I've done the front and the back. We have one sleeve and we almost have a second sleeve. I absolutely love this colour. Let's see if I can sit on there. So I'm still a little bit unsure on the length. So I messaged Ellie because I'm literally over 6 foot tall, and I think sometimes any jumper I knit looks like a crop jumper on me. And she said, I said, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to knit as the pattern states, because it was a test knit, or what? How do you want to play it? And she said, no, I want you to enjoy wearing it. She was knit to where you want the length to be, and then just tell me how many inches more that you did it. So I thought, right, okay. So I've kind of knitted it about an inch shorter of a jumper that I'm happy with the length on, because I wanted to allow for blocking. So I thought it's Thursday today, and so Thursday 31st of August, and the deadline is Monday the 4th of September. And I say I've been off this week. My day job at the moment is absolutely bonkers busy, and I know that the second I'm back at work I just won't have a chance to fart, really. So I kind of want to get it done by then. I think I'm gonna cast it off tonight and block it, and then if I'm not 100% happy with the length, I can always go back and add another inch or two. But with that bit to one side, that's an easy thing to sort out. How it fits, I'm really happy with. It's got, I need to put I've not tried it on properly with the sleeves, but what I liked about it is the ease on the sleeves. They are quite comfy, and then the decreases still can have that like nice little bit of a slouch. I also like how she's written the pattern regarding the sleeves, because same again, with me being over 6 foot, I naturally have longer arms and legs than the standard lady, and obviously I don't want to give too much detail away, but it wasn't just knit to this amount and then, you know, decrease. It was knit to a certain point, a certain marker point. So I was really, and I think that then, following how she's kind of given the instructions, it kind of fell in line with my body shape, which is really, really good. Really like the decrease pattern that it gives, but not going too much away. But do you know what I mean? It's got like a nice little funky swerving, really like that. So yes, so stay tuned, and if you can support the pattern, that'll be amazing. So I'm gonna get my son to put a little link here for the name of the pattern, for the link to it, because I see the stitch design there. I think it will, I know the wool is quite crinkly, I find on this. I think once it's blocked it'll look quite more prominent. So yeah, so I'm happy with that. I was don't tell Ellie, I was a little bit nervous I was going to miss the deadline. But to be honest with you, I didn't get what you call sleeve iron too bad. I kind of got towards the end of the first sleeve, and because you're that busy concentrating on the decreases and getting to a certain number of stitches, in my head I was thinking, oh god, I'm gonna do that, I've got to knit a bit straight for a bit, and then I got to do the, but all of a sudden you were there, and I was all like, oh, cast enough now. And then, like, in my mind, like I normally do, I tried it on expecting that it'll come to, you know, is a standard supermarket jumper I'm wearing here. What's that supermarket? But anyway, shop bought. I was expecting to be here and getting ready to kind of make a mental note to tell Ellie that, oh yeah, for me I needed an extra few. But yeah, it came up to about here, and then it was like, do the cuff. So it was all pretty much spot on, which was great. And then I thought I'm gonna struggle with second sleeve island. But no, it as I say, I think because you got enough to think about and keep you going, and the sleeve, it did knit up quite quick. I did need some perseverance with the round around on the body, but I mean you get that with any 4-ply stockinette bodies anyway, don't you? And obviously I know, as I say, I'm tall, I have to knit for longer, but overall it's knitted up quicker than I thought it was going to be, because as I say, I don't know how long ago I started it really, and I've been doing this Aran jumper as well, so yeah, pretty impressed with that. So I'm gonna get that finished tonight, weave in the ends, get it blocked, and then try it on. So I'll try and see if I can get a picture put on there. So that is my, well, I know technically the theme is not quite finished, but it's almost finished. It'll be finished today. So I'm casting it as a finished object. Just gonna have a slurp of my cup of tea to show you my mug. Knit happens. So I also have some acquisitions. So I don't know if I showed you this from the first episode, first or second. I'd gone with some friends to Cold Spring Mill in Haworth. And I don't know if you've ever been, great shop, love it. And I bought some Sirdar Haworth tweed, and this is it's for a jumper that I'm making for my sister-in-law, and it's called the Robinia sweater. I'm going to put a picture in here, and when you see all the different yarns that it, because it uses up about 4 different types of yarn, a 4-ply tweed, another 4-ply merino, a lace weight, which are all 3 are held together, and then you use a contrast colour for the in-between. And when I priced it all up with the recommended yarn, I thought I need to remortgage the house. Right. So what I've tried to do is kind of get some alternative sort of borderline commercial yarns on some of them to just bring the price down, but obviously still looking at the fibre content. So I've replaced the 2 4-plies, so one's a 4-ply with tweed and one's merino, with a DK tweed, and that's what this one is. And then, which has arrived in the post today from Ducky Darlings, because I was looking for a navy lace weight mohair, kid silk, something nice and fuzzy, and I was kind of struggling for colourways because, you know, navy is quite just like a dark not, I don't want to say boring, it's not boring, but it's quite like a uniform colour to us. Some of the places I was looking at, they were, all the colours were all mixed or variegated. I had a bit of turquoise in it, and it wasn't quite what I was after. And then I spotted this on Hayley's and I thought, ooh, that's the colour. So this arrived in the post this morning, literally about an hour ago, and this is called The Boys in Blue, in brackets, and Girls. So when I've put them both together, I'm a little bit on the fence because my brain can't always see what they're going to be like held together. And it might be that they look fine and it just makes this one a little bit darker than it need be. So I'm going to swatch them both together just to see if it gives the effect that I'm after. But has that nice shine. So I ended up getting 2 skeins of this. The yardage is, or the meterage, is 420 meters for 50 grams, and this is mohair silk. So the pattern called for 4 skeins of a 25 gram one. So should be sorted. The only thing I need to get now is the cream colour is just one thread, which is like an alpaca, so 1 strand rather, yeah, and it's like an alpaca cotton mix, which basically knits to like a chunky, and it's got like a fuzzy glow in it, and I cannot for the life of me find something that's equivalent, so I might just have to go with what they've recommended just for that one. But as you can see from the picture, the blue has the majority of the colour work in the pattern, and the, you know what I mean, so if that was the expensive one that I go for, it's not like the whole jumper kind of thing. So I'm going to have a little look, and I timed this really well because I was and ahhing about buying this, and I checked with Hayley at Ducky Darlings what her stock levels were like on it, because I needed, as I say, I needed 2, and she says, oh, she goes, if you're a subscriber, she goes, keep an eye out because the, you know, might be a discount code for, ooh. And do you know what, I actually thought I had already subscribed to her newsletter and I hadn't, so I almost missed that. So I've subscribed now, and I got a little discount, so thank you so much. So I put that in, and I'm gonna keep these with these because I'll probably put them both down in separate places come to use it. So that's all gathering up. And do you know what? I think it's me. I think once I start knitting them up together, it'll be fine. So, there we go. Right. I thought on, because I also need to do another swatch for something, and I brought this down. This is some short needles that I've got, and got the needle sizes there. I definitely need to use my 4mm needles for one of the swatches, but the other one, I don't know what size I need to do yet, but this has 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, so we should be sorted. Deadline for the Robinia is Christmas, which is 4 months away, so that's a little bit further down the pecking order. I also have another acquisition, an unexpected acquisition, because I'm trying to, as I say, keep to this strict budget just for the next couple of months while we get some of the bigger bills paid off. Very boring. So I had one of those spontaneous afternoon meets up with a friend, as you do, and you go, what are you up to now? Oh yeah, do you want me to join you? Okay. So we went, my friend Tony and I went to Farsley, which is about 5-7 miles away, which is a village, and she's been getting some walking, she's doing like these step challenges. So she said, have you ever heard of a shop in the Sunnybank Mills called Scrap Store? I was like, what? Scrap Store? I said, what is it? And it's just this amazing Aladdin's cave of all like reclaimed items that people, you know, from like either office clear outs. When I say it has everything, anything and everything, honestly, you will not believe. And obviously, what do you say? Do they sell any wool? And yes, they do. Size of my head, right? This weighs a ton, and I want to actually weigh it on the scale. Should I do that now? Shall I weigh it to see how much it is? Now, this is a very fine, almost like a thread, almost like a lace weight, and we've done this thing before because I bought something similar a while ago from a machine cone, black. Now you can do this technique where you triple strand it, and then when you triple strand it works out of the same knitting weight as 4-ply. So I thought, oh, this would be good for like blanket edging, or you know. Anyway, so for 1.3 kilos, £3. So that's why I purchased that, which is brilliant. And as I say, if you're from in West Yorkshire and you've not spotted it, it's in Sunnybank Mills Scrap Store. They had everything from foam pieces to pens to bingo tickets to fabric. God, what do they have? They have this massive big sheep head. MDF plyboards, anything. So like if your child is doing like an art project at school or college or whatever, honestly go down there, because it's not massively expensive, and it's just great for like any projects, you know, when you don't want to buy a full pack of things and you don't quite know what you need, and yeah. So yeah, the scrap store, it was really good. Give it a look up. So that was the rest of my acquisitions. Works in progress. We're going to next. In my little bag here, as I said, cast on a pair of socks, and I've finished. How beautiful is that? Don't know if you can see the twinkle rainbow. And I managed to knit up to the red, so then I can start the next one on the orange, and they all be nice and identical. And it's quite a nice soft, actually, that one. So a reminder of what I've been using is I got this in a de-stash, and I believe it is Easy Knit self-striping, and then this grey is a high twist charcoal colour from Rusty Ferret that it's a bit of a go-to contrast. I've used it on a couple of socks, you know, when you don't quite know what contrast to do, and you think, oh, a good grey. Can I have another slurp of cup of tea? So I did one, and then I literally just started. next up. But I've not done any knitting that I've done. I've literally just been ploughing everything I can into the foamy sweater. I am looking forward to, I've got like a list of some socks that I want to kind of get done. So I'm looking forward to kind of bringing them back into my commute knitting. So now I've got those 2 jumpers pretty much over the finish line. I'm not starting the Rabinia one till probably about October, November. But I want to swatch those 2 wools together just to see how they go. And then the other one that I've got, the other jumper that is starting next, is the same pattern as this, but it is on DK. So I've wound up all the balls into sizable ones there, and hopefully this weekend's job is to swatch it. And I really have had such a brain fart. I've done it before. I've absolutely done it before. Basically, I want to knit an Aran jumper pattern out of DK wool. So obviously if I just picked a size and I knit it, it turned out a lot smaller because it's on a different way and different needles. So I'm going to knit it on 4mm needles instead of 5mm, so I'll get the right density of the garment. And my mind has gone blank on how you do the maths. I think I just need a quiet hour. I'm going to just cast on like 25 stitches, just do a quick gauge to get my gauge. And then I think what you do, I think you use your gauge and find out what your measurements and how many stitches, and then you look at the gauge on the pattern and then work out how many extra stitches or whatever. And I think it basically works out, if you would normally do like a medium, you might end up doing a large or an extra large because that's what the stitch count is. So yeah, so don't hold this to me. I need to kind of get my head around it a bit. But once I know which pattern size I'm doing, I'll be flying. Because as I say, it was quite an easy knit to kind of get going. It is going to be on smaller needles, so it won't knit up as quickly, but it is for somebody that's of a smaller size, so I'm hoping it'll kind of balance out a bit. So yeah, I'm going to start that possibly next week. We'll see. But yeah, I'm going to get it swatched this time. And that's all I have. Well, that's all I've been working on. I know I've got my blankets that are feeling a bit neglected and unloved. I would like to kind of get back onto my blankets in like November time. We shall see. But yeah, I'm really happy with those jumpers. Getting those out the way. And I've actually knit something for myself. I know. Very unlike me, isn't it? These socks are also for me. So I think that's about it for knitting. Budget. I don't know what kind of hints or tips or advice I can share. As I say, I'm trying not to beat myself up because it's the school holidays, and I think every parent starts with the great intention of, I'm going to keep to this budget for school holiday entertainment, and we always struggle to kind of go in it because the pressures of keeping them entertained and fear of missing out and all that stupid stuff that social media puts on us, which is a load of garbage. I feel like I've got the balance a bit better this year. We've kind of had a couple of weekends away, but small weekends in the UK, kind of visiting family. So work-wise, I've only really had 2 long weekends. So I've had a Friday, Monday off work, and then 1 full week off work, which is this week. I was desperately in need of a break and some rest, so I don't think I could have done another full week away. But we had a nice day out at the beach on Bank Holiday Monday. We went to Seaham Beach, Seaham in the northeast, which I've never been to before. It wasn't as busy as I thought it would be. I thought it'd be, you know, you kind of question your life's decisions. I'm thinking, why am I going to the coast on bank holiday? But it was actually okay. And I got there and we found a parking space at this, one of the main recommended car parks. And I'm looking for the pay and display machine. No, free parking. I know. I'll take that. So it was free parking. We took some sandwiches. I think the only thing that I paid for, other than the petrol, was an ice cream for my son, which you can't really go to the beach and not have an ice cream, really, can you? So I thought that was a relatively low cost day out, which is good. And then the next day was potentially a high spend day out, but it's something that I've been promising him for ages, and that was a day out to Alton Towers. Now, I think my tips on how to make it not as pricey is just planning, really. I know that they always do these vouchers, don't they, and all the cereals, for like our adult goes free and all this kind of thing. But I read up on it. So the adult goes free or half price or whatever, or, you know, buy one, another person goes free. You can only give that voucher in hand if you pay on the day at the gate. If you pay on the day at the gate, it's £68. So one person pays £68 and the next person's free. However, if you buy online in advance, you only pay between £34 and £39. So it's like a 62 freeze, really, and because we were going as an odd number, it made sense for us to kind of pay it online. We took packed lunches and we took loads of extra snacks. Do not underestimate how many snacks you need. So we took loads of things like that. We also took refillable bottles for water, because they do have, because you can take like 3 or 4 drinks with you each, or 2 drinks each, say, but then it's the weight of carrying it around in your rucksack, so you're kind of balancing that out. But they do have like free water fill-up stations, so if you want to just take your flask of water. I think, to be honest with you, my son's getting quite clued up on the whole, like, oh, you can buy this slush poppy container and then you can fill it all up, but it's only £20. You know, he's getting quite savvy with things like that, because we kind of make a bit of a rule now that on these days out we'll pay for his entrance, but any shite he wants to buy, like souvenirs or, you know, stuff like that, he has to pay from his card. That's quite a good deterrent, actually. And because he's saving up for something, he's like, do I want this thing more than this big thing I'm saving up for? No. So we did succumb to a McDonald's on the way home. However, there's my thought process here was, if you ended up having 2 packed lunches for both lunch and evening, are your sandwiches going to be soggy by the end of the day? And then it's also the extra weight of carrying it around. And then I thought it's probably cheaper feeding everybody in a McDonald's at like £6-7 a head, rather than if you had save your sandwiches for the evening and then have the chicken and chips or burger meal at Alton Towers for, I don't know, £12-13 a head. So that was my reason, and I've kind of budgeted it in. And I think, as I said, I think a lot of where the extra money goes is on these extra drinks and the, you know, £3 or £4 for an ice cream and all things like that. So I'm happy with how it went. We didn't kind of overspend or anything. So yeah, we did get caught out in one respect, but I tried to salvage the best out of a disappointing situation. So it wasn't really due to rain till about 4 o'clock in the evening, but it literally started raining, you know, that drizzle rain. It just was relentless for about 3 hours solid, and to the point that he had a t-shirt. I mean, because temperature wise it wasn't that bad. So he was wearing a t-shirt and a zip up cagoule, like a waterproof cagoule. But then even waterproofs after 2 or 3 hours, you just like still wet through to the skin. And I thought it wasn't like quite close enough to the end of the day that you could kind of say, oh, you'll be alright till you get home. I thought, oh, he's just going to be uncomfortable. And I'm a little bit annoyed at myself that I didn't insist on getting a hoodie from home and chucking it in the boot of the car, stuff like that. Lesson learned for next time. But I thought I can buy a hoodie at one of these shops, but I want it to be one that he will wear, not just on that day. He'll wear it time and time again. And yeah, there was a bit of my parents that came through. I was like, I want you to grow into it. So he is in about age 13 clothes at the minute. So I was all like, let's see him get about age 14. And so they had one that was pretty much plain black with just quite a discreet logo at the bottom. It was quite a nice, good quality double-lined hood with toggle drawstring things, and it's still a lot of money. It was £35, so it wasn't, you know. And I thought, well, I'm not going to get one for £15 here. I'm really not. It's Alton Towers merch. But to be honest with you, there's some places, like I've been to Harry Potter, one of them was selling the jumpers for £70. Anyway, I thought it was going to be a lot more expensive than that, about 35, and he tried it on, and it's I think he can wear it for 2 years. So I thought, you know what? And kids do need clothing, so yeah. So there's my budget tips, is if you do get caught out of stuff, yeah, get a bigger size. Due to technical difficulties, this podcast cannot be completed in the usual manner.